Hey everybody, it's Tuesday. It's from the barracks. I may or may not have sped all the way home, so I could be here tonight to make sure we have our Hidden War AAR. I'm Joe Gover Players Wanted with me. Um, it's Justin. He'll give you some shiny new bracelets if you really piss him off. Beowulf West from Shadow Legion.
What's going on, guys?
Now, to be clear, Beowulf was not at the event this weekend. Unfortunately, Wiener is umpiring a softball game. I mean, I guess I would like to be umpiring a softball game right now. He showed me some of the views; they were nice.
What's
Um,
up, FTX?
what's up, Steve? How you doing? We're keeping this sort of a small thing tonight. We may or may not go. We may or may not go the full hour. I'm still a little bit amped from what happened over the weekend, so we're going to go over the good, the bad, the good, um, and
Gonna do the sandwich method. Is that what we're going for?
you got to keep me on the sandwich method, man. You need to start
Okay.
telling me to put some layers on there because I will
So
tell
tell
you.
us what the game was first.
Yep, we're going to talk about Op Hidden Ward. But before we go into Op Hidden Ward, I just want to say that once again, Wiener and I had the great opportunity to go to MK Clarksburg. We'll have videos of that up real soon. There was some really funny moments where I almost did an epic moment where a guy threw a grenade at me. I almost kicked it back to him. I flubbed.
Almost.
Almost. It was that close. Um,
Almost got it.
what's up, Jay? That close. So we went there, but this was at Felipe. Felipe.
Is it actually Felipe? Have we been saying it right the whole time?
Yes, we've been saying it right.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Felipe. It was at Battler's Knob College, I guess.
What
Is
kind
what
of knob?
huh?
What kind of knob?
Battlers. Battlers.
Okay. Knob.
Knob. The people, Sherry and her crew that run that place are absolutely fantastic. They had amenities that I thought I was spoiling airsofters with Mid Orange by having showers available. Uh-uh. This place has straight up dorm rooms that are really, really nice, that people are going into. Uh, um, and then Wiener and I got to stay in the on-site hotel. The
Joker's like,
battle,
oh
battle,
no, we're the poor.
and it's one of the few things I've experienced when I'm on travels. There was a memory foam mattress for me to sleep in. I was I was so happy. They had a cafeteria that they fed us in. I was worried about how to say it. Say what?
Felipe. Felipe.
Oh, Felipe.
There's your time dilation and airsoft there a little bit there.
Uh,
If you're gonna bring up later.
I just noticed that. I just noticed what he said. I gotta get. I mean, TikTok's not available.
So nice amenities.
The amenities were really nice. The food was great. They had breakfast.
Memory foam mattress.
They had the memory
Cafeteria.
foam mattress, bro. I was.
Did they have a bidet?
Huh?
Did they have a bidet?
They did not have a bidet.
You know, I think in airsoft that would be the next tier up. Because I mean, let's just be honest, guys. You know, get a little swamp butt going on.
Ryan, do I hear goals for Crescent?
That's right. Bidets for everybody. It's just going to be water.
I think I said that before. I think that came in before you said bidets. So we could always wait and see if that's what he's going to respond with, like yes, no, maybe.
It's not an actual bidet. It's just one of the old school like water sprinklers that just kind of goes back and forth. You got to straddle it. You got to straddle it.
I mean, Crescent does have an inn that we're going to be putting in. And somebody did ask me if we're going to take the admin building or what we're going to call headquarters and turn it into a. Give me 1 second. We got a spammer here at the block list on Restream. My throat is still screwed up from this event. There was a lot of dust, a lot of yelling. Yeah, but they were asking us if we take the headquarters and we could turn some of those cell blocks into like pretty much a gigantic hospital. I was like, I don't know. I mean, my own private suite for Crescent works for me. We might be having some stuff out there. We might have some things. I got some ideas touring that site. I will tell you, the inn will definitely have memory foam because
you can stay in Wiener's private suite, but yeah, you might want to Lysol it.
Bro, the funniest thing I saw, like I was I was driving back and had TikTok just scrolling while I was driving, just listening to. I was when I stopped for food. Um, the Portland like riots and all that, or protests going on with ICE. The ICE agents chasing the weenie dog. If the dude that was in the inflatable weenie dog street was hilarious. Um,
I think my favorite one is the guy in the inflatable costume. They pepper sprayed the little port that sucks in the
and
air.
he still danced. I think he was wearing a gas mask underneath. If he was smart, I mean, I would. That's what I would be doing if I was out there.
Here's the thing, though: if you're inside of that sealed compartment like that, yeah, it's going to start burning regardless of whether or not you got a gas mask on.
But
That's the good stuff. But anyway,
um, really cool, nice town. We got to drive over like a really old timey, old school uh, bridge, which was kind of
that one of those
cool.
wooden bridges from like Beetlejuice.
Yep.
Ah, crap! Where's the headless horseman?
That's I was like, bro, I seen this movie before. um, so the staff there, the buildings there, the building itself was actually, um, it was the building had two parts to it. I call the main part had a basement, first floor, second floor, third floor, and then with three stairwells. And there was a couple points of entry that could have been used for the outside. And then there was another section of the building that went down that was like their, I guess, their service basement, um, which had another sub basement below that. Um, so we're gonna jump into this AAR real quick, unless you have some more questions that you want me to answer.
I'll just answer them as they go. Go straight into the. Let's
Um,
start with the good.
the
Besides the
good
amenities.
The
Besides the
good, the
amenities.
amenities were great. The amenities were fantastic. The building itself actually has a huge amount of potential. Um, Not to like jump into bad, but the thing was you have to get the right numbers, and you also have to have the right flow. You just can't have the stairwells.
And
Um,
what was it before?
the numbers, I believe it was like 225 total with staff that were there.
No, I meant the AO. Like what type of
Oh, it was a
facility?
college. It was
College.
the
Okay, okay.
Battlers Knob College and university. It turned into a
Ah,
university. That's sketchy ass bridge.
a lot of a lot of educated knobbing going on over there. I hear.
Just imagine, bro, Ryan. I'll have a story about the trip home today, and why.
No,
I
no.
yes, yes, and I'm going to talk
Go
about his state.
go on to the good stuff from the game so we can cover that because you're wanting because if you get on that tangent, you're not going to end on time. And you said you want to either end on
Uh,
time or early.
I will. I will. I got pulled over by a cop, and I wasn't even speeding. I was able to use my dash cam to prove I was right.
There you go. All right, cool. See, you didn't even
And they
go off
wanted
on
to
a
search.
tangent. There
They
you go.
wanted to do a search. I was like, "You ain't searching me." uh, no, the facility was really great. The the staff there was excellent. There's there's a huge amount of potential for the building that we're in. You just have to
Mhm.
have the right amount of numbers or the right way to flow around. Um, so let's they have the cafeteria side was great, really modernized and everything else. The keys were cool as shit to get into your room. They were like a microchip type key you put in, and then you could never lock your key in your room because you would have to put the key in the door and lock it before you left.
Huh.
So it was really cool thing. Um, the area was fantastic. Um, and the great thing was it was like 30 minutes from Clarksburg. So we could play at Clarksburg. We could have all the cool food stuff at Clarksburg and still be at the AO and do some stuff. So
Location,
let's jump.
location, location.
It's a great location. So let's jump into like the first day. We got there and Wiener and I's plan was not to play the night game. And we didn't play the night game because we were going to
So,
go
so this is
check out
Lion Claws, but now is it like a more structured game or is this like just meat grinder
so
battle kind of stuff?
so this one turned into a meat grinder battle, and
Okay.
I'll get into that about the Saturday when Saturday gameplay kicked off. Um, there was only one objective to get, which was these big ammo crates, which also might let into like some of the issues maybe with the site, but I'll get in all of that. So we got there Friday. Check-in was really easy. FTX Tactical there, Gruntpaw Tactical there, Amped was there, and they were also selling drinks, snacks, and all sorts of good stuff for us throughout the day. Went in, check-in was fast and easy. There was a hiccup with some chronos weren't working. Um, I just know for the future, whenever I go to a Lion Carls game, I don't give a shit if I'm traveling from 10 states away. If I'm driving, I'll just put my chrono box in the truck. It's a small box, but we always will make sure we have chronos. So the chrono line was a little long on Friday, but they got through it. They worked through it pretty quick um, and got everything set up. Uh, there was no full auto allowed, and there were some definite changes for rules. Now, I'm waiting for clarification before I say something, but I do know that for tag and products, as far as I'm aware, the only thing that was allowed was the AFG fours, and I think maybe the tag 67s were the only things that were allowed to be used, with the exception of EG 67s.
What was the reasoning behind that?
Um, Power, and I'm going to show some video.
Okay.
So I would even take it a step further, and I know like I'm probably going to be the unpopular opinion here, but for this AO, you got to take tag products out and just use EGs. Um, the stairwells are tight. Um, there's a lot of sound compression going on.
Mm.
Not a lot of windows were open. It's like, in fact, well, let's just jump into Saturday. So we got through all the stuff. It was pretty easy. We did our the squad lead meeting, ran, played at MK, had dinner with the MK guys, went back, and my first negative. I hate having to get up at 6:30 in the morning to do AO stuff when I'm staying on the AO. Formation was like 7:30 in the morning. My voice is already starting to go again. 7:30 in the morning was formation. We're supposed to be ready to go, be on the field so we could go at 9 o'clock. And so we got in, and when we toured the site on Friday, I realized we're definitely going to need padding. If you're not armored up, you're probably going to be in pain. And I told a lot of people I was walking around, make sure you bring your face protection because this is going to be spicy. Um, so we got into position.
What was your average engagement distance? You would say
15 feet. If that,
Ooh, yeah,
I mean, I'll show
yeah.
some video here in a minute. I mean,
Definitely
we,
lower material.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was definitely some, let me see what I got here already loaded up for,
Lower or even full like paintball mask or something.
it is definitely, oh, I got to start this other. Give me 1 second. Paste. For those of you that were been expecting the videos, and you know what the cheater videos and everything else out there, um, it's coming. It's so it's so much. There is 30 straight minutes that I was going through and editing, and I've been home since 2:30 working on this one video. Like, well, not since 2:30, but I've been working on this one video for at least 2.5 hours, getting this entire thing cut down so that you guys could see what's going on. And all right, let's go ahead and export this bad boy. All right, that's going to take 30 minutes to process, and that's just a rough cut. I'm not even talking about the other. So um, the tan spawned in the basement. We spawned on the third floor. So I'm going to give my thoughts on what should have changed in the future. The only thing that we were allowed to use was the stairwells. We weren't allowed to go outside, and this became a meat grinder stairwell battle. Um, we had, I think we had upwards of like 89, 90 players on green against like 100 and something tan, and it we were up against Rogue Reapers, Dark Horse Six, were the two teams that I recognized right off the bat. Rogue Reapers came in almost 20 deep. I think they had 18 guys there. And it was Wiener, myself, and SRT being the primary. SRT came in almost 20 deep as well. And then we got our buddies from Outcast Airsoft. Nick Benton and Marky Mark were there with Squeaks and Bones. They were there too. Um, So we
Can you say something for me?
huh.
Can you say, "Hey, darling, would you like a grand slam with that"?
Hey, darling, would you like a grand slam with that?
That's like 9.95 a minute voice right there.
I know, right?
Chat, listen.
It's like, damn.
you
Um,
you need to change your call sign to like the easy
uh,
smooth wolf at midnight or something. It's
it's
that
my
radio
voice.
voice.
It's good. I mean, this is all result of the AO between all the grenades, and there was a lot thrown, and
Imagine that kicked up a lot of debris and dust
there was
that
a lot
close
of
quarters.
debris, a lot of dust. There was a lot of uh, try to see. All right, we got all right. A lot of this stuff I can't play because it's just too big of. Oh, there goes one. All
So
right.
going into, was it broke up into Evos
Yeah,
or
so we had Evo 1.
how many
That
hours
started at
was that?
9 and went to 12 and went to
Okay.
12. So we started up on the third floor. We pushed down pretty quick to the first floor and then started cutting over. And then right off rip, things were sideways. And what I mean by that is you had players that were doing stuff that was blatantly against the rules. Um, Shooting through cracks in the door, which was not blatantly not allowed.
Now,
Um,
and in the rules with that, it has to be about the size of your head. Is that correct? With
It
line
had to be the
laws, or
size of your head. That's a standard rule. It's not the TCA rule where you could be 3 feet back from the crack. And that didn't matter because there was guys right up on the door crack putting their gun barrel
right?
right up to it and just firing straight through. And uh
Which
it
it
was
comes
not
down to something too, and like obviously there is blatant cheaters that do that,
yeah.
but for the folks that are just actually ignorant of it, read the rules before you go play.
There was
Not
a warlord.
not
Uh
everybody's rules are exactly the same. Read them every single time to make sure nothing changes. Pay attention to the briefing.
yeah. So the big factor is like that started off rip. And then
Hmm.
one of the things while I'm sitting there, I'm dead because I did our push up or whatever, and I died. And I saw the guys there. So I had my GoPro on, and I realized this first 10 minutes of the game, I'm not going to be on this field without my GoPro on because I wanted to catch everything I was going to do. So I'm standing there. I'm leaning up against the wall. I got my dead rag in my hand. My legs, like I'm leaning with my legs crossed against the wall, my gun slung down, and I'm just hand on my hip, just watching this and going, like, bro, you can't do that. You can't shoot through the crack. I see a face come into me inside the door, come around the corner, and it comes inside. Pop, 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 4 shots in the chest. And I was like, what the F, man? I was hot. I got hot fast, and then I calmed down. And the guy did try to apologize, which is probably why I calmed down so quick. I was like, no, man, that's effed up. That's effed up because I thought he saw me directly. I mean, it's kind of obvious. I have a dead light on. I have a dead rag on. I'm facing you. My gun's down. I'm just leaning against the thing. I wasn't a target. So that leads into it. I've already talked to uh, the team lead of that person. He's going to talk with this player. I went down to the admin and started talking with the admin and pointing out the crack that they're shooting through to get him to stop. The player thought I was calling him out. He starts yelling. I was like, "I'm not even talking about you. Shut up!" Just I didn't even say shut
No,
up. I played back my video. I didn't even say shut up. I was just like, um,
well, and that's a thing. So, and it happens time and time again when you get into one of the meat grinder games, or like even if it's a structured game that turns into a meat grinder, you got people pre-firing. Their tunnel
pre-firing
vision
is
is, and it's fine. But when you are in condition black, is the term we use in law enforcement, where your tunnel vision's like this, your adrenaline spiked up, your auditory exclusions going. You're not hearing people. You're not even hearing people call out. Like you're just looking at this little tiny periscope view of the world, and you're just shooting. That's how your team kills happen. You're reshooting dead people for no reason, and it's just people got to stop, take a breath. You know, open your eyes up a little bit, then get back in there.
I want to address this real quick. The Warlord said EG67, FBG6, Mini, FBG4, AFG4, Tag 67, Tag 19, IWA M11, IWA M12 are allowed. So there were some BFG6s that were thrown. And we're going to talk about tagging here in a little bit because I got some video to show. Um, so when that happened, I was like, I sent the video to the team lead and said, "Look, man, um, just let your player know I have no hard feelings. It happens. I was heated at the time. I walked off. I was fine." But what we then had was the battle of the stairwells because Green pushed Tan kept them in the basement, and there was obviously frustration that they couldn't get out of the basement. Um, and that frustration, what happens when airsofters get frustrated, their ethics get really, really loose. So
Mhm.
when the ethics get loose, that's when things start to go. So let's see here. What's the first one we got? This was there. There was another big issue with the stairwells. If you have the spawns on the third floor in the basement, players have to go through the stairwells to go respawn. There's only 3 stairwells, and
Mm,
then the admins are also going through those same things as well, where
mm,
they're coming down and they're
mm.
coming down with these big
Yeah.
crates and going up with these big crates. So it interfered with gameplay. Now, the intention of tonight's stream is not to call anybody out. I'm not going to name teams. I'm not going to name names, right? A lot of you know who you are. I I will name one name. Gabe from MK Airsoft is probably the best way did the best thing I saw, and I'm going to find it in the videos that I have, clip it, and say, this is how you respond when you're caught not calling a hit. You don't argue, you don't yell, you don't scream, you don't say, but, they don't call it. Nah, ref went up to Gabe and says, hey, you got hit. Gabe goes, what do you want me to do? Walk back to respawn? The guy goes, yep. He goes, I'm sorry, I'll do better, and walked. Didn't argue, I didn't know what he said. He didn't feel it, but he didn't even argue that point. He just accepted right there on the
Yeah.
field what happened, got up, and went back to respawn. No arguments, no nothing.
And even if you don't feel it, if it comes down to something, when in doubt, call out. You can respawn and come
And
right
I
back.
did that quite a bit too because there was a lot of ricochets that were going on in this building, right? And there was one time I heard there was a ricochet that came off the wall and thwacked into my arm hard enough, like my arm pad hard enough that I heard the hit, and I went like that, and I was like, I was like, huh? I was like, all right, hit. The admin said, oh no, you didn't get hit. It was a ricochet. And I was like, the guys back, I was like, I already put my hand up. I already got my dead reg out.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm
No.
calling it because I was within doubt. You do that. Now,
Yeah. Well, another thing too, like even if you do that and the admin says, no, 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 it was ricochet, and then you put your hand back down and go back in there for the guy
it's
downrange that
all
was
a
shooting
matter
at you.
of perception.
What, right. What are they going to perceive at that point that the ref did?
Exactly. And that's the last
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want that.
look. This AO was small, right? It's a small AO. Your respawn is not far away. You have two hits and then up and at the first Evo, we're told first 2 hits, you have a 5 minute bleed out, and the third one we have a 5 minute bleed out. Evidently in the Warlord, that a lot of us missed or didn't read, was that a grenade is an insta kill, and you have to walk back to respawn. Um, like instantly, you're automatically dead. Just walk back, no bleed out.
Now, is that a normal one for Lions Claws,
No,
or is that
no,
different for this
and
event?
it's not normal for the lion claws I've been to, and I don't remember if that was the case in Irene, but I was in a vehicle in Irene, so I really didn't know. So,
Right.
because that didn't pertain to what I was doing, I just had to know.
But that, again, it comes down to everybody needs to read it.
That is very true.
Don't assume
Now,
because you read it one time a year ago
now
that everything's
this
the
is
same.
where, again, it's like sometimes you have to call yourself out. I didn't read the Warlord. I didn't have time. I'm doing a lot of travel. I'm doing a lot of stuff. I asked questions about. Uh, I asked questions about, uh, what would change us from standard, right? And evidently, it was said in the morning brief, but I didn't hear it, and that's why. And even if I would have seen it, I probably would have glossed over it because I just would have looked for what's the kill radius and everything else, not a bleed out time because that's unusual. So
Mm.
that's on me. But did it impact the game of me not calling? No, because I stood there. I was dead. I was. That did, and wasn't just me. There was a lot of people that were doing the same rule set where they get hit by a grenade, they just wait. Some got medicked, some didn't. Whatever. So that was like a little bit part of the problem there because these were vampire rules and they were a little bit different. So first Evo kicks off. And let's show some video real quick. Let's see here. Here's what I was talking about with the stairwells.
Need a grenade.
Can we get past you, please? We gotta go respawn.
Go ahead. I'm pretty sure that was your team, dude. Huh? Oh, my bad. We're fighting in this hallway.
Excuse
I
me.
saw his face. You know what I mean? I'll get you in a second.
Bro, come on, man. Oh, fuck.
Put down.
Dead man. Can we get past you, please? Thank you.
Need a grenade.
I meant to end it when I was going up the stairs, but it's like
So there were how many stairwells were
there
there?
was 3 total, and they went 4.
I think they probably should have taken one of them and just like, hey, this is the route dead people would take or something. Dead people and admin. That's
Yeah,
that's tight.
it was so the problem that would have came up with that is that would have compacted the AO down too much. As much of an annoyance it was that it was happening, at least was fast. We would have lost one of those things. It would have been so easy for green to hold tan in the basement. And not to say that we are being superior with firepower or anything else, but we seem to be able to move on the first and second Evo.
It's always harder to fight up a staircase than it is to fight down.
We
a
didn't have that
staircase.
issue in the second Evo either. We pushed all the way up to the 3rd floor. So it's one of those things, but if it would have been taken out, I mean, if one team is good and dominant with fighting in stairs and the other team isn't, and I'm not saying that you all suck or anything else, guys, really understand that I'm saying this from
That's a skill set in and of
it's a
itself.
skill
You
set.
have to practice
Like
that.
one of the things that I did, let me see if I have, let me see if one of these videos uploaded. I was with that crack that goes down through the stairwells. I was able to eliminate so many tan from coming up the stairs. So many of them tried to engage with me back, and it just wasn't going to happen because I was at the ready shooting down, and I was at a better angle than they were. And even when I was going up, I had really good angles and snapshots. And the guys that came from MK, I'll give them credit. Gabe works with 2 stories all the time. They fight with stairwells all the time. So they have more skill's not the right word, but they have more experience. How about we put it like more experience fighting with stairwells? So eliminating one would have been problematic. So let's see here what we got. One of the things that I did not like about what people were doing there, they're trying to force trades. And what do I mean? Here's the video. Sorry, jumped ahead. What I mean by forcing trades is that you're still pulling the trigger after you know you've already been hit. He was hitting some very soft spots, and he's still pulling the trigger, hoping that one of his BBs hit somebody else so there's a forced trade. There was a lot of that going on, and that is against the rules. It is a cheese dick move to do. And once one side starts shit like that, the other side adapts. Once one side starts waiting for refs and admins to go through and they push up behind them, the refs and dead people, and they push up behind them, the others do. In this particular case,
The old dead man walk.
yeah, well, in this particular case,
Oh, the modified version.
there was an admin that was hurt pretty bad by a grenade. Admin were coming out, and before the admin were clear, they tossed a nade in, hoping to take care of all the green, so Tan can move up and get out. And I want to show you like one of the things that happened and why y'all got to pay attention, because I'm not sure if the people have seen this before or seen how bad it is, but let's roll the tape.
Go ahead.
Rips coming through. Rips coming through. Admin coming through.
Thank you. You blew up the fucking admin.
4 or 5 of you all walk on, there's a fucking grenade lands right there. It's fucking bullshit.
Who threw that?
I have no idea.
It was tan, but here,
it wasn't us.
stand over here for a second. So it's not backlit. I just want to.
Sorry to hear that, man. You're right.
That's spicy.
My shoulder's all fucked. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
He's lucky, dude. I mean, he's hurt, but still lucky. Jesus Christ! I could have been right there next to his eye pro.
So it got so he had a shield and evidently got caught. It got caught in between the shield and exploded. If you notice, those first 3 admin went out and that grenade was coming in. They were trying to throw it, and it's an unfair advantage. You let the dead go, you let the admins go, you hold a pause. I think one of the rules that is going to be changed, or at least that was a recommendation I made, is that if admin and everything else come through, hold on, pause. When they get out, they then say game on in an AO like this because of how tight those areas are. Right? And that would have been another easy way to go through and do it. But it wasn't the only injury with tagging over the weekend. I don't have the video on my computer.
Do you know what particular
that was BFG6.
BFG6. Yeah.
Yeah. When we went down there, because there was a lot of grenades that were thrown. Right. He had the yellow. They had the yellow portion of, the BFG6s have the yellow on the upper and the lower, and that was what was off. That came off of him. That's how they knew.
It looks like fragmentation.
He got ripped. I mean, that the next day, I didn't get a picture of him on Sunday, but it looked bad. I mean, really bad. There was a guy from MK.
Is he okay?
He is fine. Yeah, he was fine.
Okay.
He was. I mean, that shirt has a pretty. I would be hanging that shirt up and just like,
dude, he's freaking lucky as hell, man.
But it's one of the odd things, like admins walking around without face protection too. And I'm not blaming him.
No. But I mean, it's one of those things like you go, it's not going to happen to me.
Yeah.
What are the chances of an admin catching a grenade to the face? Well, it should never happen. Well, there you go.
Yeah. So this is what it was like fighting in the stairs.
He didn't call it either. I got this right here. You guys move down. I got this.
And the funny thing is here was the solution for people that weren't calling hits.
Oh, how did they call us hit, huh?
And there was a lot of that going on. So when people weren't calling their hits, they were getting hit with grenades. And then what happens is you had guys that were calling their hits getting hit by another grenade, and that sucked, right?
So you're caught in the grinder there.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
And now, you were saying earlier when we talked, it started kind of devolving on both sides to that too, correct?
Yeah, so within the first 10 minutes, the basic rules were not being followed. Like the crack shooting was stressed over and over and over
We're
again.
not picking on just tan guys.
No, I'm picking on green too, because there were green players that there was a couple of them. I got to go through. I'm going to try to find as much of green. There was one point where I watched a video where I was pissed off and I was yelling, wow, 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 because I just shot somebody in the head, in the face several times. I didn't realize, because of my anger and my frustration and everything else, my GoPro got hit. You could hear it clear on there. And I continued to play. It got hit twice. I didn't hear it. Or rather, I was probably too pissed off. I had tunnel vision.
Yep.
So there's a moment in there, and I put it into video. I mean, it's there. You know, this was what I'm going to call the fuckery on the third floor. It is a 22-minute long battle, and there are guys that I know that took multiple shots, multiple hits, didn't call it, had more than 2 revives, and we're watching stuff sink into people, and I'm just sitting there saying, wow, 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 because it was so blatant, the level of cheating. Now, at the time, I didn't know who they were, like if that they were people I knew, or I would have called them out by name, stop effing cheating because this is bullshit. And I get there was frustrations because in the first Evo, Tan got trapped inside their spawn. I get it. I know how that sucks. I know how you want to push out. I know you want to do it. I mean, I finally got a chance to spawn into the basement, and I did it once. I had a blast, and here's the result. What the fuck? Hit.
Did the first one on the right run off?
Yeah,
or did he just pirouette and
no, he just took off running. So that was a great sweep. I took out Augie, Augie, and Steve from Dark Horse 6. I see John was down there too, something like that. So I did a good flank, and I didn't realize behind me where I got hit from, their spawn was down there. So we didn't know where their spawns were, which is actually spawns weren't allowed to be attacked. So technically, I didn't attack the spawn because I didn't turn to the left.
Right.
It turned to the right, and I eliminated a bunch of guys. That was the only time I was, except for when we started in the basement, it was the only time I was in the basement. So this is not a great place for flanking because you're not going to do a sneak flank like I did. We just happened to push through finally and take out the last 10 that was on that side. And there was no reinforcements, and we were able to push through and do it. That was only one of the few real highlights I had from that. Rest of it was meat grinder, frustration, anger. There was some complaints from the players that there was a lot of red shirts out in the parking lot. I will say this after talking to Tom, because that was one of the things I observed as well. Those guys weren't actually admins or weren't there to admin. They did step up from time to time and come in and help, but they weren't actually Lion Claw admins. So if you guys were upset about that,
these were just volunteers that were.
They were volunteers. There was a lot of people that tried to do everything they did to make this event run smooth, run good. Now, one of the things I would say is that what I would love to see for the next one would be more different type of objectives, except for those big heavy crates. You pre-seed, and one of the things that worked well at, say, I'll use Thunderdome as an example. Thunderdome did this really well because you have the meat grinder of either side clashing in together. You pre-seed the field with the props. Well, what can they get props back-wise, right? So you don't have to redistribute props throughout the field in real time. Well, you have stash houses, and you have stuff that could fill up your base. So if you only could say, hey, you could only have 5 crates in your base to score.
Mm-hmm.
The rest need to be in your stash house, and you'll actually score more points for the stuff in the stash house than you do inside of your base. That means that those stuff could be out there. It's another objective to attack, and the enemy could go there and try to stealing from that stash house and pulling them someplace else. So it keeps those props moving, so your admins don't have to move them throughout. That was one suggestion that I had, because there was a lot of, and I'm not blaming the refs or anything else. There was just a lot of, to reposition these things, there was just a lot of there was a lot of movement between firefights and all that, and there wasn't a lot of space to
What's up, Yordy?
accommodate that. What's up, Yordy? I would say that when it came down to having kids there, I would be with you on that. This one was definitely, I called it Thunderdome times 100.
Mhm.
There was a lot of, I mean, if you like Trigger Time and you're a hard hitter, you like CQB combat.
Actually,
Thanks,
we
Yordy.
blame you specifically, Yordy.
Yeah, you are Yordy. Yordy, it's all your fault. But if you like that indoor
What did I
CQB
do?
combat, I enjoyed it, right? I enjoy that combat. I don't mind getting shot. What I do mind is that if I make 20 attempts to take out a person and they just don't call their hits and makes all that worthless, it really upsets me and pisses me off. So, uh, good evening, Yordi. How you doing? So, after the end of the first Evo, I had a little person sitting on my shoulder like Jiminy fucking Cricket, whispering in my ear throughout both Evos, and it was Greg Reese's voice saying, "You need to eat a Snickers. Go off the field." I had to walk off the field in the first Evo 4 times, just to cool off because of what was going on.
That's the best
And
thing about
then
it, because I literally pictured Greg in the Jiminy Cricket outfit on his shoulder, holding a Snickers bar.
I know it's like
Oh,
one of the
God, I
things
have a
like
cartoon brain, man.
there,
It's
there,
too
there was
vivid for that
there was
stuff.
one time where I swear he whispered in my ear. He goes, "What are you doing wrong?" I'm fucking yelling. I need to walk outside.
I'm being a bad boy.
I was.
Ah,
Um. That's where they have issues. It's hard for me to expect them to keep honest when others aren't, especially when they're full-grown adults. Yes, there was a lot of that. There was a lot of yelling. My behavior at this event was not acceptable for how I am now. That was 2020 Joker at Miami Airsoft. The yelling, screaming, and everything else. And I mention his name and he appears. Shit.
look, just like this. What a little pop and a little sparkle. And there's Papa. You should have had a Snickers.
And you know what would have been better if he was been on my shoulder in his Meemaw voice. Why are you so upset, young Murky? What's going on?
Yeah,
But
we need to get him to do like a voiceover, like while you're playing, like everybody could hear and live stream it.
it was
that'd be great.
It was fun.
Don't get mad at that little
2020
boy
Hood
there,
Joker
Joe.
was
He's
fun.
tried
Hood
his
rat shit.
best.
Yeah, it was hood rat shit, man. It definitely was. There was definitely that same level of anger and frustration. Hey, Yordi, it was like dealing with the Venezuelans all over again. Yordi knows the reference. It was like dealing with Rage Machine all over again. You know, like you had guys that were literally they were having their BBOs and level 20 airsoft plates into where it didn't count, and it's like
Force field.
First Evo ends, we go to get lunch. The lunch was delicious. They had the chili corn dog. They had the chili cheese corn dogs. Fucking great there. The pulled pork sandwich was great.
That sounds really healthy.
Shut up! I lost enough weight. I could have indulged. Hey, look, I did like 50,000 steps. On that? I walked up and down like 60 flights of stairs. I did my Stairmaster time, man. Okay, I could have this. I did have a cup of fruit though too. So
I'm just imagining you like rage eating your chili cheese corn dog.
It wasn't a corn dog. It was just a chili cheese dog, and I was just like, dude, that thing got hoovered. That was gone. So we start this. I'm breaking Justin right now.
Didn't
so
even touch the
like
side when he threw that thing back there. I tell you, just gone.
So
ate it like he ate that chili cheese dog like a duck.
I will say a lot of people started walking off that field bleeding. So, but look, here's where credit has to be given.
Yes, I agree, Ryan. Sports Nikes.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be great. Could you imagine if we actually had like an event piled up where we had all the live streams and we have things going, you have somebody mic'd up in their head and we just start talking to them like they do at the baseball games and shit. um,
Oh God.
but Wiener and I always like to have fun at the events, and we always like mess with each other. And periodically, we'll just shoot each other in the ass. I mean, it's just one of the things we do, especially when we piss each other off on the drive. I'm going to shoot you in the ass. I'm walking, all of a sudden, oh whack! Right into my my dump pouch. It was loud. I turn around. I knew it was fucking Wiener because I saw him duck behind the corner. So the admin goes, "You're hit." I was like, "It's my buddy. We're just messing around. There's no tan up here. Whatever." He goes, "That's fine. You're good." But Wiener realized that was really loud. He then shot the wall, and it seemed really hard. So Wiener calls, he goes, "Look, I'm going to get in. Please get a chrono up here. I think I might be shooting hot." Right. So they do it. They chrono him. He's fine. He actually was still under the thing, but just the fact of that there was a doubt that his gun was shooting hot, he called an admin over immediately. So kudos to him for doing that. We need more people at these events to do better
Mhm.
because the second Evo,
I think he's
we
really concerned. So all the weight you lost, he thought he shot you in the ass and it sounded hollow.
bing. That's right. I will tell you, man, both he and I were running all over the place at both Clarksburg and at this event. So, look, it feeling fantastic losing 35 pounds, and he lost like 25. So, second Evo, we started in the basement.
Keep it up, you're going to lose a whole papa.
When we started in the basement, we're just milling around our start
Got
point,
him.
right? And we find a crate immediately, and then the ref like smartly goes, "That's not supposed to be here." I was like, "Mm-hmm, it was supposed to be here, but you can take it." So game kicks off. I go down into the sub basement of the basement area, and I find another crate, and I haul this thing all the way up to our top floor. So we scored almost immediately. And on the first floor anyway, and we go back and forth. We're running around, doing all the stuff. Cheating was just as bad. Second game, actually, it was worse because there was a team that were highly ethical players that made the decision that this game was not for them. That this game might cause harm to their players or their things. That it was just that they're going to get too tempered and they're probably going to see something or do something that was outside their character. They made it the collective choice to say, you know what, this game is not for us. We don't want to dive into the negativity. We're leaving. And they did. And when they left, things got worse. The battles raged on. The fighting was going back and forth. People weren't calling hits. There were some epic plays. Like there is one dude that chucked a really awesome nade right up, bounced off the door for inside the room, and it was such instant karma because these guys were cracking the door and shooting a pistol out of it, and it exploded. And we went up there. It was great. You saw the video. I can't put it up here just yet, but I'll get it up. I swear it was a great video from start to finish. But one of the things that happened on there, I peek out, I get into a quick firefight with another person who, again, I'm not naming names, but if you're a field owner, perhaps you shouldn't be calling other people's hits. Just saying. Like Greg would, I think, would agree with me on that. You have to try to keep yourself above board. And turns out it sounds like he hit my gun. He didn't even hit me because I was not wearing any armor. I had just light padding on, which it still hurt whenever I got shot. I got welts all over my body. I got bruises on my body. And then there's going to be a funny video that goes up that's called, I'm going to call it Airsoft Time Dilation. I realized I forgot to reset my armbands. I'm going to go back and respawn. Went down, respawned, came back. And the guy goes, "Oh, what'd you do? Run back to respawn?" I was like, "No, man, I walked. I'm not running right now." And he's like, I was like, "Look, I'll put the entire video up." He goes, "You're going on in like 30 seconds. It was 2.5 minutes. Sometimes we just lose track of time when we're sitting there. With
Perception.
Yeah, so I'm calling it Airsoft Time Dilation.
Let's go into some more positivity to round it out.
Well, I want one more. I have to say one more negative thing.
Oh, come on.
No, I have
positive.
to.
Positive.
No, because everything else is going to be positive after this. So there was one guy, and he was damn lucky that my GoPro battery died, and I swapped it out, and I forgot to turn it on. what I was saying before is our respawn was right below. We're fighting on the second floor. It's like in the last hour of the second Evo, and the hospital had this T junction for hallways, one long one, and then one two vertical hit one horizontal. Right, the horizontal ended with a half wall, a bathroom, and a closet, and these guys that were over by the half wall bathroom and closet, there was three guys. One guy was in the closet, cracking the door, shooting out, and then hiding behind the crack, and all that, and very shady shit. The other guy though, he threw a grenade, run in, and I tried to eliminate these guys. Like I said, I didn't care how many times I died because in the second Evo, grenades were instant death. You go back to respawn. You get hit once, you get medic. You get hit twice, you get medic. Third time, you're dead, instant death, go back to respawn, come back. So I would run up and die, then walk down to respawn, come back, do it all over again. Green team was not pushing like that. If we would have pushed like that and kept a few guys in reserve, we could have cleared them off the second floor. Guys, this is a CQB game that is like going to your local airsoft field. You have unlimited fucking respawns. Push, 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 push. Well, one of the guys said, I'll go with you. He led the way. He got the guy in the chest twice. The guy shot him. I popped up, shot the guy four times in the head. He then did this to my neck and here. And then I fired two more shots in reaction. And he then continued to shoot me. And I was like, what the fuck? And he got so lucky that my GoPro was off. And he goes, what are you going to do? What were you going to do? I was like, I was going to push your ass all over the internet. That would be the one guy I would call out because the blatant cheating was disgusting. We as a whole, when we're going to these events as players, need to do better. And I don't give a fuck how much integrity you have. You're an airsofter. Everybody is cheated. It's a matter of how you done what you do after you done whatever. And cheating could be passive.
Intentional or not.
Non-intentional, intentional, like talking while dead. We're not supposed to do that. You're not even supposed to have a conversation with your buddy because, hey, how many
Even
people
if they're dead?
Because they're dead, right? You're supposed to just be dead, right? Even if it's the other enemy team, you're supposed to just be dead, right?
I know me and Wiener are definitely guilty of that because usually we're talking shit to each other while we're dead.
Me and Fat Ninja were having over, and we were having a conversation. He goes, "What happened with that grenade?" I was like, "You threw a great grenade, dude. You got like three guys, but most of it went into the backside, and people fled." And he's like, "Oh man," I was like, "No, it was a great fucking nade, dude." So I always loved playing with Ninja. At one point, if I didn't think I was going to piss off every member of Green that was in the stairwell, Ninja was dead. I was gonna medic him just to see him throw two nades and die. It would have been hilarious. It would have been great, but I would have pissed off everybody around me. I just wasn't going to have it. So that's the last bit of negativity I'm going to land on. So the positive stuff that was there was that there was a lot of connection with friends that were there. There was a lot of squad work that was done. Those people that did push and push hard and use their riot shields to their advantage. And those new Wolverine shotguns that can shoot 12 BBs. Fuck those things too, by the way. But the overall thing is that you get a chance to go out to a really cool new AO, try it out, and it's a new AO problem, right? You run into these from time to time. You go to a new AO, you think it's going to work right. It's not. So let's talk about the positives, how it could change. Well, let's talk about one positive. Looks like Lion Claw might be going back in March. They have another building, another set of dorms. One of the things I definitely think that they're taking the feedback on is that if they open up the exterior doors, you now go from 3 ingresses to now 9. So the 3 stairwells plus the doors on the outside, you now have multiple points you have to break up and go through. I think the player count might drop. That's also going to help things out because there was a little bit too many players that were there inside that building to make it be effective. Adding more props would definitely make it to where there's more stuff to go around and less stuff to move. And then setting up stash houses would also be better. Another benefit might be to have the spawns on the 3rd floor. Because then you have 3 stairwell and you can't fight on the 3rd floor. It's just the second, first, and basement plus the other 2 floors of the other building. That might also open up that entire AO better as well.
Start both factions up top and make them go down.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing that that when was that I went out and asked Vampire to do was open up the windows in the stairwell so one, sound can escape, and smoke, because those were also bad. I think, and this is where people are going to hate me, removing tagging altogether from this event is probably going to be a smart thing, and to switch to EG67s only. Reason being is the loud concussion and everything else and the fragmentation of those grenades, it takes out any doubt of what's being thrown. And I think it'll make it overall safer for everybody, because that's the key thing. One of the other benefits too was because so many people didn't show up for Sunday. I think we lost about 40% of the players. A lot of people won raffle items, so that worked out really well for some people. Some people took home some great stuff. FTX Tactical did a great job with their raffle stuff. MK Airsoft did great stuff for theirs. Amped Airsoft gave out some good stuff. G&G and Evike, they both gave out. I mean, there was like 10 guns that were given away.
Oh wow.
So plus a bunch of other stuff too, but 10 guns. Grunt Paw Tactical gave out some cool stuff. So, I mean, on a whole, the AO has a huge amount of potential. I hope that anybody that went to this game that was discouraged by what they saw and everything else, remember, AOs can evolve. People seem to forget that Crescent with Operation Lockdown was a shit show that first game. There was a lot of mistakes that were made by that event producer that I had to try to fix on the fly because I didn't realize how bad it was going to be. But now look at how Crescent had evolved, right? Give this AO the opportunity to do the same thing, because the games can be really fun there. Especially if they limit the player count to like maybe 150, 160. That might be the ideal number there. They'll have another dorm room that they could fight in, which will be another cool thing that can go through the dynamic movement. We'll have to see what comes out of their things. I know some stuff, but I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say. I just know that those two things we could talk about. But that's the stuff that would really be good. And, I think you guys on a whole, every game can't be a win, right? But what you can do is you can learn from it. You can expand upon it, and you can go through and do good stuff after that. And if you guys see videos that we put up and you notice your friends that are in there cheating, have a conversation with them, because we have to do better. Because the problem with Airsoft right now that I've seen is that so many people are not holding themselves or their friends accountable for the bullshit action that they do. And so on a whole, I will tell you right now, if you guys are in at it, if you're inside the Clarksburg, West Virginia area, you guys need to check out MK Airsoft Clarksburg. It is a fantastic field to play on. So many different game modes to do. They're open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it is probably one of the best fields that I've played on. I still love my MK Willard. That is my top favorite field right now. You guys, I'm just sucks that I live so far away. But with that being said, that's our AAR for this evening. I want to thank all the players that came out, that stuck through it. I want to thank the players that tried to do everything they can to keep their ethics up and their integrity up, and tried to make this game better. Let's roll into the next one. John Connor, my name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
All right, guys. With that being said, that's our AAR for tonight. I will be putting up videos, so if you guys want to see some of the stuff that happened at the event, you guys want to have further discussions about it, we will. I will tell you right now, our AAR for next weekend or next week is going to be a positive. It's going to be a good news stream only on that Tuesday. We're probably going to have a couple of people on, have some good talks, talk about team building and everything else, and why we airsoft. So until next time, I'm Joker, where players wanted, with the Barry Manilow voice. Over here, it's Justin. He'll give you some shiny new bracelets if you really piss him off. Beowulf less. Until next time, may your BBs fly true and your opponents always call your hits, and call your own goddamn hits. Good night. Shit. Why is it not working?